just, give everybody an update, what you've been up to since then, and kind of like how have you been coping, with life, and, you're still here, man, and I believe you're still here for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, where to begin? I think like one of the human elements of all of this is just like the process of the unconditional love and the care that you have for somebody else to go through, what she went through was challenging as a partner to see your loved one, because there's this chaotic thing about health and just, I think, mortality in general, where it's like, we're not going to be the ones that choose when our last day on this earth is. It's just not in our cards to make that decision. And when it's completely out of your control, and it's something that happens to someone who's so young, who's so vibrant, who's so full of life, like who's the perfect example of like God's love in a person. Like everybody she would come in contact with loved her energy. There was something different about when she would walk into a room, people would see the beauty of her soul beyond her physical beauty. And she was extremely beautiful. So she's just this ball of energy that is gone way too soon. Like she's a once in a generation type of personality and energy that you feel. And there's such a big loss for me personally, because I think like as a man, as somebody who's, I'm weak, I'm a sinner. I fall short of the grace of God every single day. And Andrea brought me so much closer to God, so much closer to the potential of the man that I want to be. And during our time, like we merged into one being, and we were together every single day, every single moment. There was very few moments we weren't together. People saw her somewhere, I was there. If people saw me somewhere, she was there. And one of the, I guess, the blessings of this whole thing was that although the cancer continued advancing and she passed from it, she never let that stop her from doing anything she wanted to do. And even during the weeks where she'd be on chemotherapy, she would call those the most creative moments of her life. We would sit there hanging out at her mom's house or at our house or wherever, and she's recovering from chemotherapy, and we'd be sitting there popping off random business ideas and different concert ideas and all of these kind of creative things of just sitting there. So she used even like the hardest moments where she's feeling the shittiest to produce something positive. So how do you cope with losing the love of your life, your other half? Like, I don't know. I don't have the answer. I don't know. I don't know. As she would do, I just keep going, know? And I think that's something she taught me, is to not be sitting there being sorry for yourself all the time, not sitting there being sad, but to stand up and be strong. And sometimes like the biggest courage that she had was to put on a smile when she didn't want to. So I think I've learned so much from her, and I hope that I can kind of continue on a part of her spirit by living that way and continuing on and getting to live life. Like tonight, I don't know when this is going to come out, but tonight I'm going to the World Cup. And if she was here today, that's exactly where she would want to be. And so I'm a go. She's going to be there with me.
I think that's tough, man. I can't, all I can do is have empathy, man. And I can't say I understand, but we know in our situations, we have something very in common, losing someone so close. And I don't want to make this about me, but the craziness of my brother passing away January 15th, 2026, your wife the next day, and for me to cope, my last words, or what was told to me was pretty much the same, man. But, because when I think about what my brother told me, and I'm thinking about now my conversation I had with her on our podcast, what does she want to be remembered by? What does she want to be known for? Which I guess one of my questions on that, you think you answered a lot of it, is that, what do you hope people remember first when they think about Andrea? Coming from, obviously this past year, but just knowing when she got cancer, but how she kept, you're describing a lot of what the question is, but from what do you hope people remember her?
I think it's a hard one. It's like, there's so many different things, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, she was a family girl. She wanted to be around her family all the time. There's nothing more that she wanted to do than hang out with her family. You know, I think there's this persona that we all try to, was just so like humble. Our second date, the first date, we went to Westwoods. We sat there for 3 hours, just bullshitting, laughing, joking, talking sports. Like, she was the epitome of the coolest girl you could imagine. She would play Mario Kart with you, or she'd take you to a football game or go to a taco truck. And that's what she did on the second day. I took her out to dinner the first night and she was like, all right, my turn next. We go straight to a taco truck. And it's like, this is my culture. This is what I love. This is the type of food I want to enjoy. So she was just such like a down home family gal, that in front of everyone else, they saw as this like elegant beauty queen. Yeah. That was just this like perfect, beautiful person. And I don't know what she would want everyone to remember her by. But I know I will remember her definitely as just the smile that lights up the room. Like, to be able to possess that type of energy and that presence, that she made everyone feel loved. Like, all the people that she was around always left the meeting with her feeling happier. And she was such a deep, full of faith person, and a fighter. And I mean, till the very last day, she was still on treatment. She was still fighting cancer. She never gave up. She never stopped. She never accepted defeat. Nothing. She was still fighting to the very last day. So, one is, don't let your circumstances and the things that people might see as what's negatively happening to you define your life. Yeah. You know, like, use those as your platform to persevere forward and to continue. I think her mission, especially with the kids stuff, which we can talk about if you want, but serving children and their family with cancer, she would show up every Easter delivering Easter baskets to Children's Hospital. We'd take them to a sports game later in the year, dress them up like superheroes, and then have them be part of a superhero night. And the way that she could connect with the moms and dads of these children who are going through cancer and give them like a bit of hope, and to know like, okay, things are really shitty right now, and I don't know if I'm going to have my kid next year, but for this moment, we're going to have the night of our lives. We're going to have the time of our lives. And she was a person that was always having fun. So it's just like not taking life too seriously, and really just enjoying life and having fun.
Well, that's, again, because I watched that and I remember she said that. And I'll be honest with you, since then, because me and her had that, facing death. And I remember I told her, man, just dying sucks. She's like, sucks, huh? It sucks. I'm like, dude, it does. And even then, my voice and lungs are still jacked up. But for her to still, pull that and still laugh at yourself is one of the things I just laugh at myself sometimes. Yep. And again, I don't take life too serious, man, because I think the moment you start taking it serious, man, you start forgetting why you're fighting. You start forgetting you're human for a bit. Like, oh, I'm unstoppable. Like, nothing can hit me. And then that happens, man, and it keeps you humble. And I've in my conversation with her and what I remember, and then now, I was thinking back at it. She's a very humble person, man, but her spirit spoke confidence. Her heart and her passion for what she loves spoke confidence over humility. And sometimes you think, man, is this girl? And she's not, right? She's not conceited. She's not a drama queen. She was legit a good person. Like you said, those once in a lifetime generation of people, you wonder why. The question is like, why, God, why? Yeah. And, for that, I think, to hear, like, since me and you've talked, and me and you've been on the phone a couple of times texting, and we had lunch, man, and we hung out and talked about a lot of personal stuff, man. And, since then, I told you we should jump on a pod, and I think, man, I told my wife yesterday, how do I interview this guy? How do I say, so, Tom, and it's how do you not make it like just a hype pod when it's, it's just, we're talking real life, man. We're talking stories of people being still here, you know, whether they're still with us in spirit or they're with us now, man. And these parents that she impacted to make them feel, hey, man, you're still here.
Yeah.
You know, and from your POV to see her do that, knowing full well, because on the pod, she's like, I want kids, but we can't.
Yeah.
You know, I remember we met up with a guy doing a podcast with Casey, and, you know, and she's like, I want kids, I want this, I want that, but, you know. And she even said, I gave Chris a hall pass to go with me. You know, that's how much her humor was.
Right.
You know, so from your POV, you know, to see her still impact people that way, you know, how much of that you feel like you try to take on?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like it's my life's mission now. She created this, and everything we've ever done, we did together. You know what I mean? From creating our business to doing all these concerts and stuff, the educational component that we run, everything that she was getting involved with, we did as a pair. And I feel like I was there sometimes inside of the mascot outfit, shaking hands and holding babies and stuff like that, and just supporting in any way I could. And I feel like that mission has to live on, because that's what she would want. She would still be doing it every single year, because it brought her so much joy to get to meet some of these children, because some of these children going through cancer, it's incredible how uplifted and how positive they are. Like, insane amounts. There was a kid that we met. He was 17 years old, and we were told he had maybe 2 weeks left.
Right.
And she went into his room. He wasn't feeling good enough to come down to this little carnival that was taking place at the bottom where we were. So she went into the room, and his parents were both there. They knew. He hadn't been told yet, but all indications were he felt it. And they sat there for half an hour and talked about Friends, the TV show, which was her favorite TV show, and his favorite TV show. And for the moment I saw them there, he didn't look sick at all. She didn't look sick at all. You know? And after that, later in the year, we took out a group of, I think, 6 or 7 kids to Chancey Park, where they get to watch a baseball game. They brought their family. We had like 100 people come up and support. And one of the kids had brain surgery. He was maybe 3 or 4 years old, and he passed not long after that.
Wow.
And the parents reached out to Andrea and asked for like any photos and anything she could share, and we sent those out, and they told her that was their favorite memory they ever had with their baby. So you can't let something like that stop.
Yeah.
So definitely, you know, we started the foundation under her name, and it's the Andrea Andrade Foundation, and that's going to be my life's work. Beyond everything else is continuing to allow her spirit to continue making those impacts in the lives of these people, because it goes beyond anything that we can donate money to, and anything that I can find of importance like that feels like the most important thing in the world.
Amen. You know, hearing that, man, you know, she often talked about obviously not wanting pity for people, you know, and, you know, it's like, oh, I don't want to be known as the cancer girl. I don't want to be known as that, you know, but how did she maintain that mindset even during some of the hardest moments in her life, you know, to put herself knowing that I'm probably no better than these kids, you know, I'm probably know my health and all that, you know, but how do you think she maintained that to still get a phone call from a parent or 2 parents and just like, hey, those are the best moment and because of you guys? Yeah. How does she maintain that and, you know, that feeling, you know?
I think one thing that was really impressive that she would do is she would put on makeup to go to her chemo appointments. Something so simple. But she knew she was going to feel terrible, but she wanted to still look her best, because she felt like if she was able just to look her best, she could try to feel her best. And she went on to donate wigs and beauty products and all that stuff to women at the cancer center as well. But that was something that she always did, is like, I'm going to look my best. I'm going to exercise even when I'm not feeling great. And sometimes she would just have these little weights and she would just do squat. She would get up off the bed during chemo and do squats with like these little weights and then, go back. And I think that's always something that was part of her mindset, is like, if we do our best to take care of ourselves in every single way that we possibly can, it's going to result in having kind of a positive outlook on most things. And how she maintained that mentally, no clue. Yeah. I don't know that I'd have the strength to do that. To watch her go through the challenges she faced physically while still maintaining that level of a mindset is insanity. She was so special.
Well, I think that's what makes you often we ask that question, God, why? And it's not our place to know why, man. It's to know to trust in him, and, and strength like that given to someone like her, man, it's special. Because if everyone had that mentality or that mindset in the hardest time, it wouldn't be special, because there's only a few people I know that were ever like that. And she's one of them. And I to have other people, okay, yeah, I ran out of gas, or my team didn't win a game. It's like, that's not struggling. That's not. But for her, at the most impossible trauma of her life, she chose, like you said, to maintain. I'm gonna look good and feel good. If I feel good and look good, I probably will be good. Positive. Was it the glass half full type mentality? And I don't know, man. I can't imagine, that feeling, man. And I kid you not, man. And I'm gonna say this from the bottom of my heart, man. I think about you every day, bro. Since we've talked, since we've had our both experiences in January, and it's humbling. And I find myself pushing myself away from that, only because, and this is gonna be me being honest on a lot of this, man. And like, I love what you said earlier. We're not perfect, man. We sin every day. But to get back to a mentality of, if my brother was able to make it right on his last dying day, and a lot of people don't have that opportunity. It's like, all right, you got this much time, make it right. Because there are so many accidents. I've worked in news, so many tragedies that happen so fast that you never know when life's going to hit. And, for her to always, I don't know, but in the meantime, I'm going to make this good. This is going to be fun. Like you said, she's planning businesses, because when life happens, and, I've learned when I was sick, man, life stops. So you have all the time.
Yeah. And
how you plan on, and God willing, how you plan on taking advantage of that by not just helping yourself, but helping others. That's special, and that's where, again, that's what I think about all the time, man, especially in our conversations, and to grow, every day in that, and we were talking about, falling short with God, and we're sinful people. But how did Andrea, because Andrea spoke about her faith, and her conversations with God during these difficult times, man. How do you feel like her faith shaped her and helped her the way, she faced this adversity?
It was at the core of everything. I mean, her faith is what anchored her belief in getting better. And her, like, she didn't live like, hey, I'm dying soon. She didn't live that way. She always told me, like, we're having kids, we're having grandbabies, we're going to die together in our 80s in bed. That's it, period. I trust in God to get me there. And she didn't allow herself to really jump out of that mindset, but always every day living life to the fullest, even though you thought you're going to live till you're old. And she taught me something very interesting, because I grew up in the church. I was an altar boy, grew up in the Episcopalian church and Catholic church, and then started branching out to all these different denominations of churches, kind of trying to find myself as I entered adulthood, and really got into a skeptical time of my life where, I wasn't sure of what I believed anymore. I knew there was something out there, and I knew that I had a soul and a spirit, but I didn't know where to align all of that energy. And seeing her go through this, and we began just going to church together. We started reading the Bible together. But her faith was so anchored. She brought me so much closer to God by seeing her as an example. Not anything she would ever need to say. That's what I think makes her amazing, is that her life is an example. She doesn't have to tell you anything. She just lives in a way that you can watch and go, I want to follow that. And where she would find that is in Jesus Christ, and looking at the way that he lived his life and how he treated others around him, and that, hey, at times he was a rebel, and he would stand up against what isn't right, and he would be there for other people, and he would heal others, and try to get people around him to do the same thing. And I felt like in many ways she was a healer herself. Even through conversations or text messages or Instagram messages that people would reach out to her and say, hey, my mom just got diagnosed. I just got diagnosed. My daughter just got diagnosed. And be able to bring them healing and safety and comfort. She's just an example of God's love to me so much. And so I think that she never was like, I'm going to follow these commandments and we have to go to church every week and I'm going to say fuck every once in a while. You know, but she had a personal relationship with God. She prayed all the time. We would get down on our knees and pray. And we were blessed to meet a pastor named Jason Friend out of Southern California, who's a missionary, goes all over the world. And he became a father figure. We started praying every single Monday with him. He worked for a similar company as I worked for at the time, and the boss, when they found out Andrea got sick, he sent Jason out to go visit her in Reedley at her parents' house. And he stopped by and he said, he left and he goes, I don't think she's going to make it another couple weeks. This is in 2020 when she was diagnosed stage 4, and they told us she'd not leaving the hospital. She made it home. She made it through all these surgeries, you know, multiple years beyond that. But he began praying with us every single week, and we developed a really tight bond and friendship with him. And he would tell us, hey, read this chapter, read that chapter. This really relates to kind of what you're going through right now. And so many weeks we wouldn't even talk about cancer. We'd talk about, hey, my brother's going through this, this person, this friend, this person just reached out, and we would pray for other people. Sometimes not even ourselves. And that became such a powerful thing that I think Andrea embodied, was just always thinking about other people, praying for other people, and really believing in the power of prayer.
Amen. You know, one thing that stood out to me the most, what you just said right now, is she lived it rather than just say it. A friend of mine, or a mentor, a couple of mine and my wife's, told us the best message ever preached is without words. You know, and rather than just telling people what you know, just live it. You know, and that saying, action speaks louder than words, you know, and her actions spoke volumes, man. And I think one thing I stood about the most was just, again, you know, she'd make fun of herself, her hair, you know, she just, again, I don't know, you know, I don't want to say it's like a somber thing, but this is the hard part of reality, man. It sucks, man, but I remember the good conversations, man. I remember the fun times when you came on with Unfiltered and us, and she was just sitting there like, these dudes are being dudes, you know? So that's, for me, those speak louder than just her situation. Because again, it, like you guys said, when she met with that 17-year-old young man, at that time, it felt like they both weren't sick. They just totally forgot about it, man. And that's speaking life. You know, you're talking about speaking and just living life, but speaking it into somebody to where your inner spirit is like, I'm here, I'm fighting. I'm like, I'm strong enough for this, and that willpower to keep going and going. That speaks, you know, again, you know, best message I ever preached is without words. You know, and I think her living it that way has been, you know, that's the impact, right? That's the thing that people see, man. And for anybody that's been impacted by her, you know, what a memory to leave on, you know, what a legacy to leave on, you know. And I think with that, man, there's another, she was passionate about, like you said, encouraging others to keep going no matter what they were facing, you know. What message do you think she would want people hearing today after this gets released, and what message you think, you know, after what you've told me? Yeah,
I mean, I think really it's enjoy life. Like every single day, that girl enjoyed life. She loved life so much. She did not want to go. She didn't. She would just always tell me, like, I don't want to die. I love life. I love life so much. And there were so many days where she was so sick, her hair was falling out. She, had things like breakouts on her face from certain medications, like so many reasons to feel like shit.
Yeah.
And she chose not to. You know what I mean? It's just spectacular of how to live life. Like, I just think that she's such an example for everybody to continue following, to watch her stories, to go back through her social media pages and see the things that she was talking about and the things that she was doing, and to feel her spirit, because I think it is something that's just extremely special. Yeah,
because you shared a lot of stories lately. You guys traveling, you guys, one thing you shared, she loved to travel. She loved to go do stuff, man, to go do, because a lot of people waste time on just like, I don't know if I can, or no, just, go experience life, and I'll
just book it. Just book it.
That's and see, that's what my problem.
Don't tell me how much it costs. Just book it.
Yeah. We'll deal with it later, but you're living, and that's where I've learned. I'm not saying learn, but I'm still in that position now, man, because I just think I got to work. I got to do. Yeah, I got my family here, man, but we just got to have them go experience life.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that. I really am, and I think in saying that, and I feel I've done it again. My wife's here, Laura, you're in the background listening to all this, but just what are your thoughts and experience in connecting and doing these podcasts together, and, just hearing what Chris has been saying? Go to your split. There she is.
No, it's just great hearing you speak about Andrea, because, it's like she's gone, but she's still here, and she lives through your memories. And I think it's great hearing you talk about her. It's like, I bet like people hear you and like, oh, I wish I have that, when I get older and have that type of relationship and have those experiences. And I think that's a blessing to know that there's still women out there that are genuine, and there's still relationships out there that are genuine. And it's just a blessing to hear your story.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel extremely blessed because of the unconditional love that I got to experience, where I felt it and I was able to give it as well. Where it doesn't matter anything, it's just you love that person so much. That's such a beautiful feeling to get to experience. And I think we gain motivation by seeing you two as well, because when we got to know you right during the COVID time, basically.
Yeah.
And then you got sick and you went through that, and like getting to know you now over so many years, it's like I've seen that the strength of every single man is the woman that stands alongside them. And your wife has loved you unconditionally through so many different things that you've gone through in your life. And it's inspirational to see you two and the way that you guys are a team and a unit. And that inspired us. And I know that people would tell us sometimes, like, we love your guys' relationship. We look at it. It's so, it seems like you guys have so much fun together. And to see the unit and the family unit that you guys have, and the way that you have your children, like being part of all of this, and you guys get to experience so much things together. Those are the things that we would dream to get to one day experience. So I love you guys, both of you. I think you're incredible.
Appreciate that.
And I'm so thankful that you also have that.
And I'll be on, this is like the hard part of these conversations for me, man, because when my wife talks, go back to that $3 girl. It's good to hear her talk, right? It's good to see her and talk to her. And I lived a fast life in news and business and stuff, man. There were times where I've taken that for granted.
Yeah.
And I was that guy. And to even say now, I'm working a lot. And yeah, she's here, we're here, but it's just work. But it's just, we don't just make time. And I'm guilty of that. And that right there, her to say that, it's good to see that, you guys, you're talking about your relationship. And my mind is like, does she feel that about herself too in our relationship? That's the honesty I want to have. And having you on, because you guys took advantage of every moment. You guys took advantage of every opportunity to go experience life, to go make her happy. Because I watched that part where we were talking about her bags, and she's oh, he just bought me this bag today, and you threw it. She was like, yep, I got this today, you know, and it's like spoiling her. And she loves bags, you know, she loves doing it. She's like, I've already have a collection for my kids. And she had this mindset of, I'm gonna have kids, watch, you know, and just the confidence and the faith, you know, she had. And so I just think, moreover, man, you know, I don't know what the plan or what God has planned for this. You know, I think you're walking in it now. Like you said, you're carrying on the legacy, the idea, the foundation, you know, and, you know, the going to schools and the nonprofits and all that you have. You know, I feel like just staying busy for yourself has obviously been working, you know.
Yeah,
so.
It's good, but I also have to, like, I feel like my faith, all of our faith, it requires, it just like any relationship, it requires work, it requires time, it requires dedication, it requires thought.
Come on.
And I think she brought me so much closer, because every Sunday we'd wake up and if there's no football on,
we're going to church.
We're going to church, you know, and just getting to worship and getting to sing and getting to be in prayer and sharing that experience together was something that really made me fall in love with my faith. And I think, you know, since she's not been here, like I haven't had, you know, and so when I go, it still feels like this deep sense of loneliness and loss that I have to continue working on, you know, like I have to continue engaging with my faith because I can fall into bad habits. I can fall into negative talk, negative self-talk, negative thoughts, be consumed by worldly things that aren't really bringing me joy. So I think that is something that I have to learn as an individual now, that I don't have my codependent partner that I was so codependent on her for, to provide that strength and kind of that scaffolding, that foundation is something I know that's something I've got to work on.
And it's personal, right? And that's where, like, we've learned in life, man, that's where, all right, now let's see, you know, what we've learned from her, you know, what we learned now, because she did it, now let me try to at least follow her footsteps, you know, lead that, you know. That's powerful, man. I'm learning now to, like, just in this conversation, man, just it challenges me. I need to get back to doing this, because I was the type of guy, if I say stuff online, I'm living it. I think I told you this one time. It's like, I'm not going to say stuff because it's a pod and it's a thing everyone's doing now. This is who I got to be, you know. And her, one thing I remember about her is, like, that's just who she was. You know, if I'm a cuss, I'm gonna say fuck, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, and then she'll do a prayer with you right after.
Yeah, but she don't, and that's just her life. You know, it's just, she just has no fucks given, right? But she just knows, I know who I am and what I am in God, and it's not based on what's someone online or a hater or somebody. You know, that's one thing that stood out to me the most, man. And, you know, because even watching the pod, I looked up, you know, her online this past week, just kind of Googling all these news stories, all the support you got. You know, she was like known as the pageant queen, you know, doing all these interviews, social media, public appearances, you know. Who was she when nobody was looking? You know, who was she to you? And I know we talked about,
she's goofy as fuck. Yeah. Like, I posted a Instagram video the other day. I think it's still in my highlights, but it's just her dancing while playing PlayStation. Yeah. Like, she was playing FIFA, wearing the headset, talking shit to some kid probably. And
on the line.
Yeah. And then in between, you know, she decides that, because she had music playing inside of there. And so she's playing some music and she just starts dancing in her eccentric way, and just, you know, in sweats, you know, no makeup on. Think of a Drake line. Sweatpants, hair tied.
Yeah.
That's when you're the prettiest, you know? And she's just such a family girl, always joking around, always cracking jokes. You couldn't take anything too serious around her. Like, when she's around her family, she's just one of the girls. Like, she wants to be held by her grandma and her mom, and she wants to just be just a home girl. She's a homebody. Like she didn't have all these like friends that she would go out to dinner with or go out to like nightclubs or travel with or whatever. She wanted to be with her mom and her grandma and her brothers and me and her nieces and nephews. And we do 4th of July every year at our house, and we're going to continue that. And she would just love that, to see all the kids just having fun, lighting off fireworks. She would love Halloween in front of our house. Like it's one of those streets where it's like packed all night. And she would just love sitting out there handing out candy. You know, just being a normal person, just normal life.
Yeah, that's cool, man. You know, you just, again, normal life, you know, and that's all she ever fought for, right? Yeah. That's all she ever wanted to live for, man. And, you know, I have a question. It's like, you were with her through the moments most people never saw, man. You know, what is a memory that perfectly captures who she was, really was, through all this? Just,
I mean, there's just too many to name. But I think even just the one that I just explained, just her playing video games and dancing in the middle of our house, you know, it's just like, those are the moments that nobody gets to see. There's not filters, there's not makeup, there's not this, there's that. It's just two souls connecting with each other, being just perfect together. And, you know, that's how I remember those moments the most.
You know, Andrea believed life was precious because she had come so close to losing it, you know, several times, man. How did that perspective influence the way she lived, you know, and loved more? Because each time she went, I remember in our conversation in our podcast, every time she went, she was down for this. And then get back to work, go back to get the therapy, chemotherapy, and then down. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, she was diagnosed in 2017 originally, went into remission for 2 years, and then 2020 came back. And from 2020 on till January 2026, every other week she was on treatment. So every other week she kind of felt crummy and would have to kind of recuperate and recover. So really, like 50% of her life was already consumed during that time frame. And so what she had left of that other 50%, she just wanted to go buck wild with it. Yeah. And I think that from what she told me, I think that the cancer diagnosis originally was kind of a boot in the ass. You know, it was just like, I'm 26 years old. I'm not everywhere I want to be in life. There are things that I've always wanted to do, but I've been fearful because I have a jealous, crazy, machismo Mexican dad that won't let me stay out past 10 or like get out of the house or travel or this and that. And once she was diagnosed, she decided, I'm gonna apply and do a beauty pageant. I'm gonna sign up for Miss California. And she went, and then somehow different media stations realized that she was doing this, that she was competing in Miss California while undergoing chemotherapy and still looking incredible. And she went on to win four crowns over the course of a year, competing while undergoing cancer treatment. And so it was like this epiphany moment of like, all right, I'm not just going to let this life pass me by. I'm going to do things. I'm going to go places. I'm going to do stuff. I'm going to create my own business. I'm going to develop my own dream. I'm going to get my own home. I'm going to start my own family, like boom, 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 boom. And just so motivated. Yeah. And I don't have the one thing that I think is probably the most transferable lesson for people is just like that motivation of it's a choice, you know, like she knew I had bad days and good days. And so on her good days, it was like, let's go. What are we doing? Where are we going? You know, what are we creating today? And so she said cancer was her superpower.
Dang.
You know, she told me that since her diagnosis, these have been the best 7 years of my life. Some of that is mindset, but some of that also is like the choice in doing all of those things that you've always wanted to do in life and not looking back at the end, whatever, if it's 35 years old or 95 years old, going like, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have gave that a try. Like, you know, she didn't leave any stone unturned.
Man, that's amazing, you know, because you know, winning the pageantry, like you said, 4 crowns, and then, you know, hearing her story, because I watched a lot of the news coverage, you know, and I mean, I used to work there, man. One thing I don't like about the news is that you're just that one day, that 1 week story, depending. And, you know, I felt like your slots could have been a 7-8 minute package, you know, just, you can't say enough just in a minute and a half, 2 minute and a half,
right.
You know. But what was her impact in the Fresno community? You know, like what are some, you know, some stories people may not know about her, you know, lives she touched, you know, especially the impact in Fresno, Central Valley?
Yeah, I mean, I think that her story resonates with so many people around here because she's an immigrant. She was born in Mexico, went to kindergarten, first grade in Mexico, came over as a young child. Her parents are farm workers. Most of the family is either working in agriculture out in the fields mostly or at packing houses. Mm-hmm. Her first job out, you know, into her adult years after kind of thing, after high school and stuff, you know, working fast food and stuff, but then also working in the packing house and being involved in that. She spoke both languages exceptionally well. Yeah. And so she has this humble beginnings of growing up in an apartment with other people staying there and like just trying to make ends meet and figuring out life and wanting to make something of yourself. And then to go through adversity like that. And then to represent your community as Miss Fresno, Miss Central Valley, Miss Fresno County, Miss West Coast, you know, Miss Nuestra Ayesa. So many different things where other people around could look and go like, man, my life isn't really that bad. And look at what she's doing, like going through all of this. Not to mention she was just like a beacon of joy. Like people would look at her, talk to her and be able to connect with her so easily. So, you know, I think in terms of really making an impact for the community, like she represents what you want out of a community member. You know what I mean? Somebody who wants to advance in their life, to contribute in some type of way, to give back without wanting anything in return, to do good for no reason at all. Like I said, I think her life is an example for all of us.
Yeah, it's to do good for no reason at all, because that's just who she is. Eventually, what is in you eventually pours out in a life-death situation or when the hard time hits, you know, that the true person comes out, man. Because one thing I know from experience talking to her, you know, and meeting up with you guys and running into you guys when I was in a wheelchair and Maya off my recovery, you know, and she just...
Still miss Wayside Noodles.
I still miss Wayside, man. They named a bowl after us, you know, so I miss Wayside, man.
Still miss them.
But it's the impact, man, and I'm thankful to know that just it resonates and pours out still. You know, I swear, man, I think about you guys every day. I think about her. I think about you guys, man. And I told you guys that when you guys both on. You know, I genuinely, my wife, we loved you guys, still do.
Same, likewise.
You know, and it's beautiful. Yeah. You know, and to be here, we're talking about her memory. We're talking about her impact, her goofiness, her collecting bags, and you know, let's watch a clip or two, just kind of see where, you know, just react to her. Did it go away, Laura? Oh, there it is.
So are you, but we ain't saying that.
Like, you did that shit for free.
Come on, talk about it. Hypocrite. Trying to come at me with that.
Exactly. I'm like, girl, come on.
You used. Oh my God.
I love it.
That went south. All right, back to Jesus. Let's go. All right, bags.
But one of the things that like I tell Chris, I'm like, some people don't understand. Like they look at it like, oh, they're used, but it's like,
talking about her bags.
My biggest clients, and honestly, like all of my clients are wealthy as girls.
Nice.
Like they are actual real estate agents and they make bank.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I take them to their house. I deliver them. I see what they drive. I see what they have. Like it's ridiculous. And it's like, if they're the ones with the money, you know, and they're the ones that like aren't complaining about it being pre-loved or how, you know, they say used. It's like, if you don't even know the proper terminology, then there's a reason for it. You know what I mean?
That's not your word.
EBT cash on this shit. You put it on your kids. You know, you get income tax once a month, once a year. Come on. You ain't real.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, these are the women that are, you know, because they're being smart with their money.
Hell yeah.
They're not necessarily going, like, I get it, the experience, but I've been there and it's an amazing experience when you open that brand new box and, you know, you pick your purse or whatever. But again, like, you're spending retail pricing right now with this inflation. Like, everything's freaking expensive, you know what I mean? But so if you can get the bag for a smaller price with me, you're going to end up making money when you do choose to sell it. Like, that's you being smart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
what do you think now hearing this, you know, like her bag collection? And
I love seeing her. She's just so stunning, so spectacular. So amazing. I love how she would just talk shit. She would just say stupid stuff like, girl, you're not in the right tax bracket right now. You can't be talking like that where you're at. Just joking around and stuff. But I was so impressed. I mean, this was another thing that she did while basically on chemo. She would shop for bags, and she would send me to go pick them up. You know, and she was like, I just got this bag for free. Yeah. So she collected so many just based on kind of like that model of like trying to kind of resell. People would kind of wholesale them like, hey, I want to get rid of like 5 or 10 or whatever at a time. And she would clean them and take care of them, really research like which ones people want and like, you know, make sure they're authentic and all that type of stuff. She loved it. She's just such a down-home girl while also hella elegant. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Bougie AF, bro. That's good, though.
Yeah. No, I love seeing that. That's fun. We had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, I mean, because even that, because I remember I used to, me and Nemo flip shoes and all that. Yeah. I never really got into that, man. But the bags, I know it's like, that can get up there, man. And now a lot of these chicks these days, man, that's the flex of what they own and stuff. And for her, but it never changed her. No. It didn't change her.
It didn't at all.
She knew what she liked, but she knew who she was. Yep. She remembered. You know, that's one of the things, again, we're sitting there just cracking up, you know. She started getting comfortable when she was leaning back on that chair. She was like, I'm talking shit right now. You know, so let me see. Let's go one more. I know there's one thing we said at the end. Go full screen, babe. Let me see, because I have them markered. I know you jump on too. Let me see. This is how I feel. Man, she spoke a lot of truth in this, man. Y'all need to go check this one out.
You know, again, that's why we're here. That's why I want to talk to you. You know, finally get you on and really, you know, because again, I definitely want to make this a reoccurring thing. You know, because if you have something to talk about. You have an event, dude. We'll unplug all this and we'll shoot it. We'll go over there.
That's still up that's still on the table too.
Let's go.
I'm down.
It was a lot of fun.
We're actually Grizzlies invited us April. We have a lot of shit.
Do it and invite me,
dude. We already did the launch party.
No, the opening day.
Oh no, we are April 8th. You guys come out, jump on the pod. I'm serious. We'll do that again.
Because she said something on her. She was like joking around, like Fresno sucks or something. Like that. Remember that?
Yeah.
She's just like, I was like, man. She's like, we like Ray, but Fresno sucks, man. She was just talking.
Just sounds about right,
bro. Let's finish this up right here on, and we'll
throw down. And
like Central Valley and Fresno, like we suck.
Oh, yeah. See,
you know, like we suck unless we're winning at something. Yeah, and no one gives a shit. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I agree. You're not wrong. You know, champ, yours was it your World Series, but we're gonna delete this part. Yeah. But what's so dope? Again, I'm excited to be a part of that. You know, we're gonna
with a brand like that. Like that's pretty legit. Like we've done it with them too. You know. Yeah. And then partnered up.
She's always
don't take her serious.
No, seriously, y'all need to come. Good connection with get you guys. Is there anything else that you feel like
buy my used bags? I guess.
Going on?
Buy my used.
Anything going on with you?
Buy my used bags, I guess.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
She sells used bags.
Buy my thrifted shit.
Pre-love.
Buy my thrifted shit.
Exactly.
Look at hilarious.
This is how I remember her, man.
Yeah.
You know, and we're in a podcast setting, you know, and I would say this question, man, is like if Andrea could sit in this chair with us today, man, you know, in this podcast, you know, leave one final message for her family, friends, her community, man, what do you think she would?
That would definitely be something. Yeah. Don't be crying on this podcast.
Yeah. She's like, nah, I believe that.
Yeah. She'd be no, I mean, I think she would just be living it up, having fun. Like she'd probably be talking shit on what the next thing to talk shit about is.
Yeah.
You know, I think she was such a cool hang for everybody. Like guys, girls, old, young, doesn't matter. Like such a great hang, and she would liven this place up and brighten it up for sure.
Yeah, 100%. You know,
before we close out, I want to just check in on you, man. How are you doing? And like, we obviously talked, not on the pod, but you losing your brother the day before Andrea, like, is a, I understand the trauma that goes behind it and the difference in scenarios and all that stuff, but kind of how do you bounce back, and how are you back into doing all this and continuing on without him?
Yeah, I know when we started this, I had told you that was on the table, but I didn't want to make it about me. I want to make it about you guys, but I didn't want to not bring it up and just ignore it, man. I'll be honest, just to say it, cold hard truth, man, is, I'm still not good on that. I'm not. I have, like my brother right now, he told me, the last thing he told me when he was like, hey, just when you guys do my funeral, just get it over with. Stop crying for me. I'm going to be with God. I'm going to be with him. And so it's hard for me to because he's laughing, because I hear his laugh right now. And he would tell me stop being a bitch, and we waste so much time trying to be right. We waste so much time trying to be, above them. And, I'm living, and so I don't know, man. It's hard to think that you get too busy to think about this, do it on purpose. But every day, man, I talk about to my wife about this stuff sometimes, because I don't like sitting here thinking about this, man. I want to work it away, and hearing her laugh, hearing her talk, my last conversations with my brother, that's all I think about, and him apologizing. I'm apologizing. We December or late November, mid to late November, I found out about him, and before that, we hadn't talked in 5 years, and so, and for him, we apologized, made amends, and every time we hung out, I literally was laying on him, we're both 40 years, I'm laying on him, just cuddling up with him on his bed, and just we're talking, and just, and I wish I didn't waste time, and for you to ask that question, I have to be honest, because I want to put a reality that, man, is just because you think you're right or something has happened to you, man, doesn't mean we have to let it go that far to be too late, and I love about your guys' experiences and situations that you guys didn't waste no time. You guys went and did. You always loved each other through, and I'm sure in moments with you guys, you probably didn't have perfect moments.
Of course.
Yeah. But you loved right through them, for me, man, I miss him. We had plans to work out more and to get stronger together and beat this together, because we've been through a lot of stuff. I know you shared a situation with a family member recently, just, coming out of a situation, and, something that, obviously was personal to you, man. And, having you, my question too, did you call that person yet? Did you, and so for me, that's all I think about now, and I wish I could have made more time, and I didn't. And, to be 100% transparent on this episode and this podcast, because again, this is like the first official launch of it, and I just want it to be you. And I don't know, man. I'm good for the most part, but inside, man, it's just hard for me to talk about how I really feel, because it leads to me breaking down, and I really don't want to, man. And I want to just, like I told my sisters, I want to live in a way where people experience me now, then they're going to experience my brother. And my brother was a guy who gave. He didn't care. He was great at everything, and he made everyone know it by showing them. And me stepping out doing what I'm doing here. I've always been afraid to go invest in me and do this, but I'm stepping out, man, to let people know how great I am. And I know that's what he would want. I know that's what he wanted me to do. And he didn't give a shit what people thought. And he's the type of guy, man. He's from the streets like you and me, man. He'll make it worse. And is that good? Probably not in the professional world, man. But the reality is, man, I've learned no one cares until you make them care. And that's just how I'm living my life, man. And I want again everyone to experience my brother through me now. And I can't sit there and hold anything back, a thought or an opinion, man, and worry about it. That's just who I am. That's who he was. And my last conversation he had with me was, just kill it, man. Just kill that curse that's killing our family. And that shit rots in me every day, man. It just sits there, man. And, I had a hard time sleeping last night because that's all I kept thinking about. Because I'm thinking about our conversation and I'm trying to, I don't want to make it about me, but I want, because we have a similar experience right now, man. And just losing someone so close, and you took advantage of the opportunities every time, but we made it worse for ourselves. The dynamic is crazy, and so many times we let petty stuff get in the way, man. Rather just grow through it and try to be. A friend of mine told me, man, I don't want to be right no more. I just want to be reconciled with you. Yeah. And I wish I had taken that mindset 5 years ago, and we'd be in a different place, obviously, but it's neither here nor there, man. I know, what encourages me more, man, is talking to you and getting this stuff out. When we had lunch and we would text each other or call each other, getting this stuff out to you, man, means a lot because it's better to talk to somebody who actually went through it or is in it too, man. For sure. Because I'm not going to take advice from somebody who, just give it to God, brother. Give it to God, pray about it. Just read the Bible. Yeah. I don't want to do that. I want to be pissed. Yeah. I want to feel this way. And then hearing you, and it's like, well, Chris is taking it this way, and this just happened to him the day after. I'm going to trust him. I'm going to believe him. I'm going to try to follow him. Because he's in the thick of it now. It's crazy, almost 5 months. Yeah. Right? It flies. And it's like phone calls stopped. People stopped checking in, and I can't expect nothing from people, man. But it's hard for me to just sit there and not think about him. And I had on the night before, because I officiated his service, and we're in the video games and Final Fantasy, all that stuff, man. And he was the type of guy that would buy stupid shit. Even now, he had nothing to his name, but he would buy toys. He would buy stuff. Yeah. Pretty much like a high schooler's room as an adult. Yeah. And he gave me a bunch of stuff that I knew if I was a kid, I would probably go steal from him. And he always kept us out of his room. He'd beat us up if we go in his room. And so I went and visited him one time, and he gave me some stuff. It was like this little music box of a game we played, and I never touched it. He just gave it to me, and I knew this was real because I found it that night before. We're in our living room and just started playing it, and it just broke, so. This shit's real, so I think now for my brother, I can hear him right now, and he's like, Brody, just move on. I'm here. We talked, we're good. 2.5 months of the best time. We went back to where our lives were somewhat innocent together, and, just move on. They didn't break him, we didn't lose. And, it's good to see the dynamics between my brother and Andrea, and the two lives that were lived. One life had an impact of everything, but my brother lived a life where it was just him. And no one will ever know him. And my heart is like, okay, now I'm going to let people know me. And if they know me, they'll know him, And I'm thankful to have this opportunity before me, man. And I'm thankful and blessed to see the experiences and the dynamic between my brother and Andrea, you know, because her life is a life of like, man, that's a person that still needed to be here.
Yeah.
You got all these damn pedos, you got all these crappy ass people, and they're still around for what, you know? But that's not my judgment call. That's my flesh. That's my anger, bitterness, my flesh. It's just, I can't be selfish that way, man. And only God knows. And those are the steps I keep taking to remind myself what my brother told me these last days, man. And, you know, I appreciate you asking that, because I know when we started, just, you know, it's on the table. Don't feel like it's, you know, not, but, you know, I want to. 3 more questions. And if you have any more, man, what I just said, go ahead, brother. And if you're in a rush, I know you got to head out.
No, go for it.
You know, but after everything you've been through, man, together with her together, dude, what is the greatest gift Andrea left behind in your life?
A fire. A fire. Yeah. I think I'd never met somebody so motivated to do something with their life, to make something of their life, and the willingness to put in the work for it, and to survive through it, and a burning desire to live life.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's certainly what I feel her inside of me still. I feel like she's living through me. I feel like she's here. I feel like she's going to come around the corner and bust in and start cracking some jokes and making fun of us. But that fire, I think, is something that I'll carry on forever.
Yeah. You know, Andrea fought loud, you know, hard, lived with like so much purpose in these days, you know. In the days since her passing, man, what are some ways you've been trying to live your life in a way that you know would make her proud?
Yeah. She always wanted me to be, she's like, she always wanted me to be at my peak. You know, she's like, I'm so happy I got you. She would always tell me, she'd pump me up. Well, I didn't believe it, but she's like, I got you in your prime, babe. Like, you look the best of your life. You're at the top of your game. You know, like, she would hype me up so much. What was the question?
Just like what are some
am I doing
ways
now?
she's like, you're trying to live your life?
Yeah. So I think being the best version of myself.
You got caught up on you. You're like,
I heard the compliments I heard you saying them all. I like your hair.
You're looking fit, babe. Good for you, man.
I think just being the best version of myself, you know? So it's like going to the gym, you know, that's been something I've put a lot of time and energy and focus in since January. I've always kind of had fitness as part of my journey, but not the focal point of it. And now I've put a lot of time and effort, and I think that's something that's going to help me physically to be, you know, we get one body, you know, and you don't always decide how long it's going to be healthy for. But if you can make enough decisions to try to prolong that the best you can, I think that's going to help. And also keeping like a sound mind. One of the things that her and I both started doing over the last couple of years is reading nonstop. So at least 30 minutes in the morning, and, you know, 30 minutes before I go to bed, she bought me a Kindle and a little pillow with it and a little remote so I can like lay there and click it and fall asleep. And it's just like sharpening my mind constantly and keeping my mind open to things, and then just constant prayer and connectivity with God. I think those are some of the things that I'm trying to continue doing right now to live, and to remember the fun that she wanted us to have on a daily basis. Like, I don't think she'd want me cooped up sad at home. You know, tonight I'm going to the World Cup.
Yeah. One
of the coolest things I'm ever going to get to experience. Still trying to travel. I booked a trip in September to Peru.
Wow.
With one of my buddies, Jose, another Jose.
I heard Jose's are pretty good dudes.
Jose's are good guys. Yeah, it's a good name.
Let's go.
Good name. Strong.
That's right.
So we're going to Peru and we're going to hike Machu Picchu, you know? And so that was something. I love history. Andrea, when we went to Paris the first time, I was like, we have to go to the Louvre. We went to Paris once. She hated it. But we went to the Louvre. Probably that's why, because I took her to a museum.
Yeah.
And, but it was something, she would then buy me books on like history and stuff like that. So I think just continuing to live, continuing to have fun. And lastly, getting really, really tight and close with her family.
Yeah.
And I already was, but the type of relationship that we have now, I feel like another brother, I feel like their son, their grandchild, and being able to spend a lot of time with them has been something that's been super duper, super helpful for me.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Last one, I think when you think about honoring Andrea's memory, what does that look like for you moving forward? What parts of her spirit do you hope to continue to live through, for you, man? And, because a lot of times we think we have to live, for her family, your family, but, I care about you. You're here now. Mm-hmm. What parts do you feel like now you got to start living through for you?
Yeah. I mean, I think the example that she showed me is try to live each day a little bit more like Jesus, just a little bit, just a tiny bit. We're going to fail so many times, so many days we're not going to live up to those standards and expectations, but go a little bit harder, do a little bit more, sharpen yourself, give back to somebody else, love somebody else, bring joy to somebody else. Those are the things that she did so well in this world. And I think if I can use her as a guide for my life, it's to do those things. And all this matters, you know what I mean? Like me saying all these words, but what's going to be more important is how I live my life.
Come on.
And living my life to be the best version of myself. And hopefully maybe that provides an example to somebody else to get closer to God, to better their health and fitness too. Yeah. Whatever it is that I'm trying to do at the time, but it's just to live a life worth living.
Amen. I mean, that's amazing. Good. That's a good last thought, man. And I think my, that's going to inspire me more. Because I'll be honest, my excuse is that we've been here about a month and I haven't been to the gym in a month, bro. I've been going hard. So I definitely need to get back onto that, But babe, what do you think, hearing this whole conversation and just being a part of it, back there, just, what are your last thoughts and, just hearing what we talked about?
No, it's great hearing stories and, I'm glad you guys connected, when you guys needed to, because it is hard. Even as a wife, I know, Jose, what you're experiencing in the family stuff, but it's kind of hard to say, oh, I know, how I feel, or, I could just be a bouncing board to you with what to kind of experience. But having Chris there at the same time, that was a huge blessing, for both of you, I think. Yeah. And, no one talks about grief. No one talks about, what you experience and how you go through the emotions. And I think you guys having that, able to talk about that's really helpful, because some people don't have that, and they don't know how to go through it. Or it's okay to experience anger. It's okay to experience these emotions. Just write it, and, just blessed that we have people like Chris and Andrea in our lives, and
likewise.
She'll always be there. She's just a great soul. And, thank you, Chris, for coming on. Such a good guy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then lastly, ended out on what you what you got going on. I know you said you have Andrea's Foundation, your name called, what's that called? And we'll put that all, the bio and all that. But what do you got going on professionally, man? And
yeah, a lot. I mean, fortunately, things have been going very well on that side for the last few years. And, our after-school programs have grown. Our summer and winter camps have grown. We're now employing, I think, close to 60 people this summer that are working all throughout Fresno County in multiple different districts that are teaching what they love, And the coolest part of this experience was as Andrea and I were building this business, we started CSA Events and Entertainment as a concert consulting business. I had come from the concert industry and the sports and live entertainment industry and developed enough experience to be able to put together concerts, to deal with booking venues, to do it all. And she had come from more of the marketing and sales side of things, working in news and TV sales, and then also working for Telemundo as an on-air talent at times and getting to do the interviews. And she was also involved in the concert industry doing backstage interviews near the airport. Not a lot of people had a lot going on for them. A lot of drugs, gangs, violence.
Yeah.
Not a lot of good examples in your neighborhood and your friend groups. And And for her, same thing. It's like packing house, working in the fields. What do you do? Stay-at-home wife, maybe. So getting exposure out to young people that there is jobs in concerts, in sports. For myself, I was never good enough to be a professional athlete, which was my dream as a kid, and then maybe being an NFL football coach. But I did gain access through going to college to internships that provided me an opportunity to see like, oh, wow, you can be a videographer for a professional sports team. You can be a graphic designer. You can be a finance guy. You can be a field operations person. You can put together concerts and special events. But I wouldn't have known that. So I wasted this time in college going, think I'm going to do this or that. So once we got involved in concert and music, we realized like there's all these kids out there that would love to be part of performing arts, but just don't have access to it. You know, either you go to be in the band. Like I wanted to join the band in 4th grade. I wanted to play drums. They were like, we already have 3 drummers. You can play the tuba.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah. You know, big old tuba. I'm like 4 years old.
No, not doing it. And same thing for her. She wanted to be an on-air talent. She loved being in front of the camera, and growing up in a small town, she didn't know how to get into that type of industry. So when we created CSA Events and Entertainment and we began evolving from just doing concerts and consulting to starting to run educational programs, we found that there's all these gigging musicians that work bars and nightclubs, casinos, weddings, you name it, that are amazing individuals that look a lot like the kids, you know, they're diverse backgrounds, they're from different neighborhoods, they have different genres of performing arts and music, theater, singing, podcasting, videography, all movie making, all of these different types of performing arts that we wanted to be able to give these students access to. And fortunately enough, over the last couple of years, instructors are getting to work with kids and inspiring them to learn more. And a couple of our students have gone from middle school students with us to now they're working with us, or now they're in college and they're studying music and they're going to be part of this or that. And so it's really cool to just have this kind of full circle thing where you see the next generation of kids coming up and they're getting access to playing music that maybe they listen to at home, but they don't get to play in concert band or whatever. Or they're playing banda, or they're playing. Last year, the coolest thing happened. We had a group of students play Ella Baila Sola, which is a very famous, popular song by Peso Pluma. It's a regional Mexican music artist. But the entire music track was like My Chemical Romance rock.
Oh, really? So
they combined this like corridos tumbados, which is like this country style kind of like there's a little hip hop to it. In Spanish with a rock sounding song. And so these kids created their own music, and to see that take place was incredible. So it's so rewarding to get to see the work that's happening every single day at the schools that we work at. And then starting Andrea's Foundation, which we launched just a couple months ago. It's now a 501c3 nonprofit. We did our first event, which is going out to the children's hospitals and delivering the Easter baskets. And then we took a couple of the kids and their families out to go meet John Party at Boots in the Park.
Oh, okay.
Which was really cool. So their families got to watch John Party. They got to meet him. Just a really great experience for them. And later on this year in September, we're going to do the Not All Heroes Wear Cape event at Chukchansi Park, where the kids dress up as superheroes. They go down onto the field at the end of the game and they light off the fireworks with their magic power. So that'll be a great event. And so continuing to do those things. Those are what's going on.
Yeah, just how do people find you, man? How do people add your social media? Just say
you can. Yeah, it's I think it's just Christopher Scott Wilson on Instagram, Andrea Andrade Foundation, CSA Events and Entertainment on all the social media platforms. So we would love to have people check us out. If you're a musician or a performing arts person that would like a job and to work with students, get in touch with us. And if there's anybody that wants to donate to Andrea's cause and serving these, not only do we do the children thing, but we're also doing wig donations or hair donations, where people cut their hair and then we give it to basically a company. They turn it into wigs, and then we donate those back out so that some of these women going through cancer can share some of that experience that Andrea did of like, hey, maybe I still want to take care of my skin. I still want to wear makeup. I still want my hair to be nice and soft and smell good and whatever it is. Or I don't, have hair now and I need to wear a wig. Andrea wore wigs all the time. Like people never even knew, but she had 5 different haircuts. had 5 different girlfriends at once. I
had a brunette, a blonde,
today, and she loved it. It was so much fun. So
5 different girlfriends. That's cool, man. I'm glad again you take the time to come on. I know we've been planning this, man, and again, I'm available for you guys, man. Whatever you need, bro. I'm down to come help you. Just be a part, support you guys. Whatever you need, man, I'm here.
Thank you. Love you, brother.
Love you, man. And you guys stay tuned, man. We got Just the Tip podcast is what my buddies, Christian, Gil, and AA Ron. That's going to be the fun talk, bro talk, nothing too serious. But Still Here podcast, again, is one of these podcasts that are going to be, tell motivational stories, tell stories like this, man, why we're still here. And supporting local business here in Old Town Clovis, with our new office space. This is just only the beginning. Something I know my brother wanted me to do, and I know something that we're going to continue to do, and in his memory, and now in Andrea's memory, and with Chris here. And so you guys stay tuned for Still Here podcast. We're going to be connecting with a lot of businesses, a lot of companies here, man. The word's getting out too fast, but I'm thankful and blessed to know that, we're starting this new journey, man. So stay tuned for more episodes of Still Here podcast. Your boy's still here, man. I'm not only just your favorite Native American, but I am the creative Native. I am the Chiefs and the Briefs, man. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Cool.